Jaya Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jaya Jashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Jashodanandana Jaya Jashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Jaya Radha Muridhara Radha Muridhara Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya 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 Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jai Shri Shri Radha Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nanta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna, dear devotees, good morning. All of us here. What is your name, Prabhu? Manan? Wonderful. Do you live here in New York? Are you visiting? Where from? Nomad. No place of residence like the Goswamis. Welcome. Glad you're here. Thank you, Champa. Today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, what it says here in the 10th canto, 13th chapter, verses 30 to 32. This, I believe, if it's a continuation, we're in the Brahma Vimohan Lila. Brahma is the first created being of the universe, and Vimohan, the great bewilderment of Lord Brahma. And as I was thinking how beautiful it is that we sing this Jai Radha Madhava prayer before we give class. The Bhagavatam is one of the crest jewels of the deepest philosophies of all Vedanta. And yet we begin by singing about Radha and Krishna dancing along the riverbanks of the Jamuna, and Yashoda Mata's darling son, Jamuna River's pride and joy. And I was thinking also, is today the last day of Kartik, or was it yesterday? Today's the official last day of Kartik. So I wanted to, a few weeks ago, or a little while ago, Venkatabhatta Prabhu gave a really beautiful class on a Bhagavad Shravana, and he pointed out this really beautiful aspect of the Dhammadarasakam that I wanted to just share as we reflect on the singing of Jai Radha Madhava on this last day of Kartik, and then also as we enter into further discussion of this Brahma Vimohan Leela. What are the first verses? First, I have it here on the screen for those who are online. But what's the first verse of the Dhammadarasakam? Okay, right there. Nama Vishwaram Sat Chit Ananda Rupam. What does that mean? Nama means mouthing something. Obeisances. Namo Namaha. Obeisances to who? What's the first word? Nama. Ishvara. What is Ishvara? The supreme. Nama can mean name, but in this context, Namo means obeisances. Like Namo Namaha, obeisances again and again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om Namo, I give obeisances to that Bhagavan. So Ishvara, the supreme person. Ishvara, the supreme. Namam Ishvaram. And then Sat Chit Ananda Rupam. What's Sat Chit Ananda Rupam? Rupa means form. Sat Chit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. So that supreme Ishvara, is Lasat Kundale Gokule Brajamanam. He's wearing beautiful earrings that are swinging to and fro. And he's manifesting himself in Gokula. And he stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters in their storerooms. And so, but it starts off with this idea that this is Ishvara, the supreme absolute person. That supreme truth is running from Mother Yashoda. That's who we worship. That's supreme. This isn't just some fairy tale, but this is the supreme absolute person. It's establishing first that Ishvara Tattva, that highest of all beings, is actually, it's not that these are beautiful stories, and then when you get to the highest reality, you realize that God is something beyond. But the most beyond thing is God in these beautiful pastimes. So when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada gave us this gift that we sing Jai Radha Madhava and remember that actually the highest truth is, Prabhupada said that these songs, Jai Radha Madhava is a window into the spiritual world. And so this is our highest aspiration. So it's a really beautiful meditation that in all of our philosophy and all of our service and all of our endeavors, at the end of the day, we just want to be running along the banks of the Yamuna River with Krishna, are serving those devotees who are. And so to remember this sweetness, and when we hear the pastimes of the Dhammadarasakam, when we look at these pictures on the wall, we have the Brahma Vimohan Leela right here on the picture on the wall here in the Bhakti Center, that we keep in mind, Nama Mishwaram Sakchit Ananda Rupan is the first verse, that's the first line of the first verse that's given for us to keep in mind that this is the highest truth, the highest reality. So when we enter into verse, where are we again? Let me look at the chat here. Verses chapter 13, verses 30 through 32. Okay. Let's take a look, shall we? I'll just read the Sanskrit here. We won't repeat. Trisvata tatsne havaso smritatma sago brajo tyapmapa durga margaha vipatka kudgriva udasya pucho gadun kritar ashupaya javena. Translation: when the cows saw their own calves from the top of Govardhan Hill, they forgot themselves and their caretakers because of increased affection. And although the path was very rough, they ran towards their calves with great anxiety, each running as if with one pair of legs. These are the calves. They have actually two pairs of legs, but they're running as if they have one. I guess that means that they're running so fast. They're running so incredibly fast. Human beings have one pair of legs. Cows have two. They're running so fast. It's like, you know, when you have like a car wheel is turning so fast, it's slow. It looks like it's going in the opposite direction. It's because it's going so fast the eye can't calculate. And so they're going so fast and running with such anxiety, it looks like they just have one pair of legs. Their milk bags full and flowing with milk, their heads and tail raised, and their humps moving with their necks. They ran forcefully until they reached their calves to feed them. So when they saw their own calves, why are they running with such anxiety and such gusto? They're trying to get to their calves. But what is it about their calves that makes them so attractive? Their calves are actually Krishna. Purport. Generally, the calves and cows are pastured separately. The elderly men take care of the cows, and the small children see to the calves. This time, however, the cows immediately forgot their position as soon as they saw the calves below Govardhan Hill, and they ran with great force, their tails erect and their front and hind legs joined until they reached their calves. I'm going to go ahead and read the next two verses. There's something that stuck out to me here that I want to refer back to, but we'll go ahead and read the next two verses, 30, 31, 32. So we're at 30. We'll read the next two verses, then I'll come back to that. Text 31. Sametikavo dovastan vatstavatyopi apayam gilante eva changani lihantya swadashampaya. Translation. The cows had given birth to new calves, but while coming down from Govardhan Hill, the cows, because of increased affection for the older calves, allowed the older calves to drink milk from their milk bags and then began licking the calves' body in anxiety as if wanting to swallow them. Sometimes you have that. Sometimes there's like a baby or something so cute, and you just say, I just want to eat them. They're so cute, like a baby is so cute, or a little puppy is so cute. It's just so cute. Your normal central perception is just not enough. Like just the eyes and the holding, it's just not enough. Our Juniper was visiting down our dear friends in Alachua Avira and saw their new baby, Dharani. How cute is that little baby? It's a cute baby? You can be honest. It's cute. And 30. Wrong. Two. Sorry, I switched internet networks. It wasn't working. So text 32. Gopastad rohana hanayasya maugala joru manyuna Gurgadva kritrato vietya govatsar drushu sutan. Translation: the cowherd men, having been unable to check the cows from going to their calves, just like at this scene, like there's like this bull rush. They're not bulls, they're calves, and the cowherd men are just like trying to like keep them at bay, and the cows are like, "Let me at them," trying to just like soak up these. It's like this intense affection. The cowherd men felt simultaneously ashamed and angry, ashamed that they weren't able to keep the cows at bay, and angry. They crossed the rough road with great difficulty. But when they came down and saw their own sons, they were overwhelmed by great affection. And why were they overwhelmed with great affection by their own sons? Because they're Krishna. Everyone was increasing in affection for Krishna when the cowherd men coming down from the hill saw their own sons, who were no one else than Krishna. Their affection increased. Okay, before I start spewing out a few thoughts on the chat here, if anybody wants to share in the chat, or even from the crowd or the audience, anything pop out to anybody that sounds cute or interesting, what you read or heard? These minds always churning. Anyone on the Zoom screen have a thought I wanted to jump out? Not that's okay, but I wanted to give an opportunity.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Just one small thing.
Gail, my backup girl. Always there for me. Hit it, Gail.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, it was so interesting that your explanation of why it is that when we see like a cute child, we just like want to we just like can't get enough of them. Just like as you said, we just want to eat them up, right? Why do we want to eat them up? Is because it's not, all of our senses aren't enough. Just the eyes is not enough for us to relish, the cuteness. So it was just interesting to me that you made sense of that statement. I just want to eat them up. It was just like enlightening. Our senses aren't enough to take in the world that we want to relish. So we have to. But anyway,
beautiful. Thank you, Gail. And on that point, I'll speak to that just a minute. And then there's 2 points that I wanted to make in relation to the verses and the purports that are somewhat related. But on that point specifically, we talk a lot about this idea in spiritual life of purification, right? What is purification? We hear this, right? Purify, purification. You're getting purified. How you doing? I'm getting real purified. How was it? It was very purifying. Someone's going through rough times, like, yeah, you're just getting some purification. What does purification mean? Give me a running definition of how we use that in devotee lingo. Champak's got a word. Purification. Cleansing your nartas, that's covering who you are. Okay. Why is that important? Why would we want that? Why do that? We can't be a pure devotee. Keshwar, you got something you wanted to say? Turning it around makes them hear it. This allows them to hear. Why don't you just basically? We haven't figured out this problem yet. After Arjuna loves it. Arjuna loves it. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah, we're in the contaminated stage, we're selfish. And in the purified stage, our natural nature is a loving person is there. And when we hear about these cows running through the calves and parents running through their children, it's not that they're trying to enjoy them, but they want to show their love. They want to express their affection and please the calves and please the children. It's a loving thing. It's not, eat them up. Sometimes you might think that that's like you're going to enjoy this calf, but they're actually trying to, our natural tendencies to love, which means it's a giving thing. Prabhupada said, I love you for you, not for what I get from you. It's an interesting thing. From selfishness to love is purification. Thank you for those beautiful points. Even materially, we have this idea of, the idea of sometimes people, you might find someone who's struggling with their health, they're out of shape, or they don't take care of themselves, and they'll make a statement like, I want to be around to see my grandkids, right? And that's like an impetus for them to start taking care of their health. Like the body and the way that I'm acting, the way I'm eating right now, the way that I'm drinking right now, the way that I'm living life, I may not be around at a certain point. I may not have a body. I want to be able to go and play catch with my kids. And so there's an impetus, like I want to be able to be there, to be around. I want to take care of myself in a way, put myself in a position, even materially, to get myself in shape so that I can experience something in the material world. As devotees, we don't want to experience things in the material world. I mean, we do, if that's part of our problem. But we want to experience Krishna in the spiritual world. We want to look in those paintings and understand what it's like to experience and interact with Krishna. And in order for us to do that, we can't do that in the body we have. We want to put ourselves in a position where we actually can serve and experience Krishna's love fully. And in order for us to do that, we need to get rid of all of the baggage that's keeping us from doing that. The eyes to see, our eyes are completely covered. The senses that we have, as Gail was saying, it's just not enough. The eyes, the ears, the skin, the tongue, the nose that I have, it's not enough to experience Krishna. We get a little glimpse. We look at the deity, or we look at a little child. Or where does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita about the idea of when I see something beautiful in the world, it reminds me of Krishna? Gorsharan's got a little mumble from the altar. I don't know if that was Gorsharan, or maybe Krishna himself was just giving us a hint. What was it, Gorsharan? A little louder? Vibhuti. And what was the verse? Location. End of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, whatever you see, know it to be a spark of my splendor. And so when we see something in the material world, and when we look at a little child, the child's so cute, or we see the love of mother, we think like, what must it be like? Like this little taste of what it's like to see Krishna running around with little butter feet, making imprints along the house of Mother Yashoda. When we see a cute animal, you see these little pictures of calves or a little puppy or whatever. It's like, what is it like for to be herding the cows in Vrindavan with Krishna, And so for us to see, like, this is what I want to experience, and this is what, it's not like, because we have this sense of like, I'm bad and I need to get better. Like I'm unworthy, I need to make myself worthy. It's not about becoming worthy. It's not about becoming good when I'm bad. It's about, I want to experience something. I want to offer something. And in order for me to do that, I just can't do it in this suit, in this costume, which these bodies themselves, in many ways, they're just Earth spacesuits. You know what I mean? They're just Earth spacesuits. It's like, I want to live and breathe and eat and function on planet Earth. This is the suit, the costume that I need. I want to go to Mars, I need a different costume. I want to go somewhere else, I need a different. I want to go to the North Pole. I want to go to Alaska. I want to go to there was an Indian family that I know that they were talking about what she wants to do for birthday. She wants to go to Iceland and see the Northern Lights. But her family's from Mumbai in India. They're just like, it's so cold. Like, why would you want to go anywhere cold? And so it's like, because like even the body we have now, you got to like suit, you got to add an extra layer. You got to have like an appendix. You need an add-on to your material body to survive in certain conditions. Underwater, we don't have a body that suits underwater. You need an apparatus. What do they call? What's scuba stand for? Breathing apparatus. You need to add an apparatus to survive. So these are just suits. They're just costumes. We talk about costumes, but they're actually just like suits that we put on in order to function in the material world. And you can't see Krishna. It's like, imagine like, you have like a spacesuit on and you've got like a cover over your head and you're trying to kiss somebody. You can't, like, you're trying to touch somebody, but you can't. It's like there's like a mask on. And it's the same thing with these material bodies. We're trying to serve Krishna, we're trying to offer Krishna, we're trying to love Krishna, we're trying to experience Krishna's love fully. There's a big glass case over my face. There's big puffy insulation trying to awkwardly hug, but I can't in this material body. So purification is that process of making myself in such a way that I can experience Krishna's love. So that's just an addendum to Gail's point. Thank you that I wanted to mention. But somebody put meat costumes in the chat. Hare Krishna. What I wanted to share and focus on, that what I was reading from these verses was two things. One was the eagerness of the cows to go and see Krishna, to go and see their cows, and it said the embarrassment and the anger of the cowherd men that dissipated when they saw their own children, and the eagerness to see Krishna overrided the frustration they were experiencing with another person. And sometimes we get so caught up in argumentations, in justifications, in criticizing or corrections of another person, which are important, and we need to, work things out, etc. But it's a good question for us of like, what am I fixated on? And if I become so fixated on correcting another person, dealing with some dramatic issue, it means I'm not fixated on Krishna. There's some lacking of eagerness I have to see Krishna. There's a lacking of urgency in my life. That there's really nothing better going on in my life that I find more interesting than to deal with whatever this is right now. Like, what about this person is doing this and that? This person is this. Like, is that the most exciting thing you've got going on in your life right now? How can I increase my love and attachment for Krishna in such a way that the problems in my life don't go away? They just all of a sudden seem a lot smaller. A lot of our questions and doubts and worries and concerns in spiritual life don't always just get solved when we enter spiritual life. It's just that the things that we think are important start to take a different perspective. And really, sometimes the genuine answer to a lot of what we're experiencing in life is just, I need to be more Krishna conscious. One of the favorite things Hari Prasad would say often when he and I were when we were in the ashram together, and there'd be some issue, or there'd be some challenge, or they'd be struggling with something, and he would just say often, he was like, and it's just going to be this way until I become more Krishna conscious. It's just, this is just what it's going to be until I become more Krishna conscious. It was never until they become more Krishna conscious, until they stop blah, 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 until they change their attitude, until they figure out how to stop being so annoying, until they figure out how to be more respectful, until I become more Krishna conscious. What happens when I become more Krishna conscious? Richard Rohr said something so beautifully. He was in an interview with Oprah once, and he was talking about the ego. He's really big on the nature of the ego and the nature of the true self. He said the true self can't become offended. It's too big. It's too broad. When I get triggered, when I feel offended, I know that's the ego being hurt. But the true self is just too broad. It's too deep in itself. It's too connect. And he wasn't speaking from a place of Krishna consciousness the way we understand it. For us as devotees, when I'm so absorbed in Krishna, so concerned with my own development of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada would make the statement that initially you have to drag yourself to Mangalarti. At a certain point, you're just running down the stairs because you can't wait. I'm still dragging myself. I woke up this morning and was in the bathroom brushing my teeth and was like, oh wait, I gotta go give class today. I think I got up. And so, we don't need to shame ourselves for where we're not at, thinking like, oh, well, now it's all my fault. I'm not Krishna consciousness enough. But it's a reminder of the real solution to our problems. The real solution to my conflicts with other devotees. the real solution to my frustrations and my sorrows and my stresses is that I'm just not attached enough to Krishna. I'm just not eager enough. And it's right there. It's there. It's not like an interpretation. Um, what is it? Verse 30, 31, 32. Verse 32. They felt simultaneously ashamed and angry, the cowherd men. They crossed the road great differently. But when they came and down and saw their own sons, who were Krishna himself, they were overwhelmed by great affection. Prabhupada's purport. Everyone was increasing in affection for Krishna. When the cowherd men coming down from the hill saw their own sons, who were no one else than Krishna, their affection increased. And implicitly, their shame and anger subsided. Their shame and anger subsided. So the question is, how can I become more Krishna conscious? How can I? What's the real problem? Not that we're not Krishna conscious. Like, I don't have enough love for Krishna. I'm not eager enough to see Krishna. There was the beautiful story that I love, or an anecdote of a sage sitting in meditation, right? Sitting in meditation, and this young woman comes barreling through the forest. She's running, she's in a hurry, and she doesn't even notice. She actually runs into the sage, tackles him, topples him over, doesn't say anything, and keeps running. And for hours, the sage is just like so disturbed. How could this young lady be so offensive, so disrespectful? She's a young girl. I'm a sage. I'm in meditation. Wherever she's going can't be that important. And several hours later, she comes strolling back, just kind of relaxed. Notices the sage and is like, "Hi." And the sage is like angry. She's like, "Are you upset about something?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm upset. Don't you remember a couple hours ago you ran past and just barreled over me? You didn't say anything. So rude." She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even notice. I was on my way to see my lover. We hadn't seen each other in so long, and I was so eager to see my lover that just nothing else was even on my mind or registered, and I may have run into you, but I'm so sorry." And the question, who is more absorbed in their meditation? Who was way more absorbed? And so for us, there was a story when I was a brahmachari, we told the story about like what it means to be renounced. There was a story of two men. One of them, and both of them, their wives had died. And the first man, his wife had died, and he came and said, "I want to join the ashram and become a renunciate, become a sannyasi, and ready to give it all up." And then, "What is your qualification?" He said, "Well, my wife has died, and it didn't even bother me. It didn't bother me. I'm so detached. My loved ones can pass away, and I understand. It's just people come, people go. We're spirit souls. She's on her journey, and I feel detached." And they said, "Okay, maybe now's not the best time for you to join the ashram, but come back maybe another time." The next man came, he had lost his wife, and he was just broken. I feel like I want to just give my life to Krishna, but I'm just so like overwhelmed with grief. I loved my wife so much. She was so dear to me. She was such a wonderful person. We were such partners in spiritual life. And now she's gone. I want to give my life to Krishna, but I'm so just like overwhelmed, heartbreak. And he said, "You're a perfect candidate." And they're like, why one person was so detached, the other person seemed so attached, and they just said, "This person knows how to love. This person knows how to give themselves completely. Maybe it just needs to be redirected towards Krishna. It just needs to be redirected towards Krishna." But the raw material is there. The soft-heartedness, the affection, the ability to feel for another person. It's just directed in a place that is temporary. So we just need to direct that towards Krishna. The other person didn't even have love in their heart. It's a callousness. And so this young girl running over the sage, okay, maybe that's not our goal. We're not meant to be, we're not meant to be other person conscious in this world. We're meant to be Krishna conscious. But that capacity is there. And I just need to learn how to direct it towards Krishna. So all of this absorption I have in this drama, in this gossip, in this upheaval, in this conflict with this person, the way it's taking up so much real estate in my mind, I want to be that absorbed in my Krishna consciousness. Ever spend a lot of time with someone that you don't like because you're having imaginary conversations in your head with them? For someone that you wish would go away, you're certainly inviting them into very valuable real estate up here. For someone that you wish would be less a part of your life, you're certainly spending a lot of time with them in your head. And how do I do that? I wish I was as absorbed and I attached as I am to this person who I feel is conscious. I wish I could be that attached to Krishna. And we see that here in the cowherd men, that they were so ashamed. Shame and anger are brought up. Shame and anger are brought up. And he's saying that shame and anger subsided when they actually saw their sons who were no other than Krishna. They're like, what? No, they ran to them. There's a couple chats here. Drag yourself and drag along. Henry, very good point. Thank you. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. Any questions, reflections? He's just smiling in her chair. Anything from the Zoom screen? Are we ready for darshan? You need a minute or two. Adi, you had your hand up?
Yeah, we're hearing about these loving exchanges. How much the cowherd men love their sons and calves love their calf. Krishna gave me a couple of experiences. We extrapolate the things we've seen in this world, talking about the baby and how it invoked the affection response. I was down in Chinatown and I was coming by this school and all these people are waiting outside. And then the school let out and all these first grade kids came out and the whole crowd went, oh! Their children, the parents having affection, a whole crowd of people, oh! And that was one thing. So I think you have to extrapolate this pure love in the spiritual world is something like that, like these things. And another thing was Heather's sister was here, and she has a little daughter, and the mother had to chastise the daughter, and then I heard the daughter say to her mother, "Mama, I love you so much it hurts." I was like, "Oh my God." Oh God. And the mother got out of the car and went to the back seat and gave it. That the thing that evokes that you want to love this person, you want to express you want to reciprocate with it's not like an exploitive thing or enjoying them, but actually trying to show them your affection. So we can extrapolate from these things we see in this world, especially with children, like what June was saying. The kids bring out something like that, that the genuine love that's exhibiting between everybody in the spiritual world. It really does exist, and it's so far beyond even the sweet things we see in this world.
Jai Prabhupada, thank you so much, Adi Pushpu. I think the closing lesson is don't let anyone or anything else get in the way of your Krishna consciousness. That it is our right to claim. And as devotees, we can't blame other people for our lack of Krishna consciousness. And if I find myself getting so absorbed in something that I feel is dragging me down, let that be an alarm bell. Let that be a red flag that pops up that's like, I need to pause. I need to find a way to add Krishna to the situation to help get me out of the muck of whatever I'm in. And that may come in the form of, it may just be I need to go chant, or maybe I need to go talk to a devotee. I may need to listen to something. I may need to read. I may need to go stare at the deities. But how am I going to pull myself out of this and not let my Krishna consciousness become compromised? Because that is our first and foremost duty. Each of us have a very special responsibility that we've been given to protect, nurture, and grow our own Krishna consciousness. And We shouldn't let anyone or anything get in the way of that. So I think we're now ready for darshan. Thank you all so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We will keep the picture on here for you to have darshan.
Thank you, Dayal Gauranga, for a great class. Okay, cameras on, please, if possible, and stand up. Rich Bhakti, yes, thank you. Thank you, Dayal Gauranga Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Rich Bhakti, love you, hug you. Isabel, thank you so much for your smile. Drive safely. Arjuna Prabhu, Yogeshwari. Jamuna Jaya, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Jamuna Jaya. Good seeing you. Suzanne, Amrita Kishori Didi, Sharmila, Dana Keli Prabhu. Love you all, Hari Bol. Redirect your raw material love towards Krishna and his devotees, as Dayal Gauranga Prabhu inspired us today. We have plenty of raw material. Hare Krishna. Rich Bhakti, I'm redirecting my raw material to you now.